obviously, in Twitch. A lot of folks starting to tune in here early. We appreciate the support. Also see some folks over there on the Facebook side. So hope you guys are having a good evening over there on the Facebook side. Appreciate you being here. Again, under caution for the first time here at Talladega. We did see a couple drivers elect to come down pit road this last time by. Pretty sure this was just for a little bit of fuel and such. This looks like Brent Scott, Jason Stone, Jose Gonzalez, Justin Fuller, who was involved in the accident, Brian Wertman, Gary Wright, and a couple others, all down pit road. Getting it lined up to go back. Green flag racing here on lap number 5. Looks like it's going to be Tyler Dalton inside of row number 1. That 19 truck every week here is pretty quick. We'll see if he's got enough to finish off the night here with a super speedway win. Certainly in the right place in the early going. Wesley Donaldson, row 2. Stephen Miles, Dalton England, JP Phillips, your top 5. Then it looks like EJ O'Rourke, Nessel Riviera, Mike Kelly, Pedro Mejica, and Doy Woods, your top 10 here as we get ready to go back green flag racing. 65 laps of super speedway racing on the books here so far, with maybe potential for some overtime, but we'll see how it goes. Super speedway racing, a great equalizer amongst a lot of different drivers. It is very, very easy to be a nobody and become a somebody at a super speedway race, even though all racing takes a level of talent. Super speedway is the greatest equalizers. You hear me talk about each and every week over the American Sim Racing Tour. You just got to be in the right place at the right time. It's just as much about luck as it is ability and talent behind the wheel here at Talladega and Daytona. Pace truck lights are off. Again, that means they're getting ready to go back green flag racing. That's a signal to those drivers to tighten those belts up. Get ready to get the focus back on. We're getting ready to be back up to 200 miles an hour here before the next 2 laps are all said and done. And you'll see a lot of drivers kind of take a couple different approaches here throughout the field tonight. Some of them are going to want to be up front. You want to be in the first 2-3 rows. And you try to stay out of trouble, being as close to the front as possible. Others want to be as far in the rear as possible. And there's nothing that says you cannot go from last to first, all within a 2-lap spread, so it's really all about preference. Tyler Dalton, Wesley Donaldson, your leaders coming back down this long straightaway here in the front stretch. Back in the Geico restart zone. And the green flag is back out, back underway here at Talladega. Pretty big push on that 19's bumper there. Here comes the 24, Stephen Miles. Right to the bumper. Both lines, though, flowing really well here, too. Whoa, big wiggle. I believe that was the 25 there, Tommy Ryan. That could have been disastrous. They were able to keep it straight, though. 2 lanes. Side by side, we're pack racing. Coming up to speed here at Talladega for about, oh goodness, we're going to call that 10 rows, 12 rows deep. They're working on getting up to speed, and here comes that inside line, led by Tyler Dalton. And that's 24, Stephen Miles, across the stripe. You'll see these drivers really start to get up to speed as they come down the backstretch for this next lap. And JP Phillips now, he's going to move up to the second line. Miles is going to go with him. New leader on the outside. Tyler Dalton's got a new pushing partner. In the meantime, Stephen Miles on the outside with a huge run. As they roll into turn number 3, here comes the top lane all of a sudden. And third line going to come into fruition just above the white line. Tyler Dalton right there, though. Not letting it phase him. Picked up a new partner in the 22. That is Nelson Riviera. In that Ford F-150, doing the pushing on the bottom. That third line is going to come apart a little bit. They're going to slide back. It's Miles and Dalton on the front row. Side by side, 6 rows back. Then that third line starts to creep in just a little bit. Side by side as they roll down the backstretch. These trucks now up to speed for the first time here tonight. That bottom lane, real neatly organized. I like to see this. The first 4 trucks riding in each other's tracks. They've got it sorted out a little bit. Then a truck gap. Oh, building up a lot of speed here. Even though I would say on that outside, Stephen Miles, and that's JP Phillips there on the outside doing the pushing. They're not too bad, not too far from having their stuff together either. Just that line, just a little more disorganized than the rest. Roll in turn 3 and 4. Nice and clean. Top 12 here. Double wide. And then a little bit of a gap on both lanes. Dalton to the front here is going to lead this lap again. Off the bumper, the 22 of Nelson Riviera in that Ford. While Team Chevy there of Stephen Miles and JP Phillips on the high side there. Also, I believe that's going to be Donaldson on the high side with him. So we come down into turn number 3. Everybody kind of jockeying for a place here. Again, that inside line looking a little more organized. I just saw Nelson Phillips there, or sorry, Nelson Riviera. Maybe poke out just, no, that wasn't Nelson Riviera, I'm sorry. That was JP Phillips. Just saw him poke out just a little bit while Stephen Miles is going to be credited with leading that lap. Stick the nose out there just a smidge. Maybe thinking about if he has a run he can put together. But that third line on the outside is a big one, and it's coming. I'm sorry, that was JP Phillips we were talking about there. Oh, and everybody kind of bobbing there on the front row. Dalton moves up to try to block. It is chaos in the front rows. All of a sudden, the third line's here. Now, Wesley Donaldson moves all the way to the bottom. He's going to lead that bottom line with the 22. Now, all of a sudden, single file on the bottom there. Made it happen, but now the 29 truck there, I think that was 20, or maybe the 25, that's Tommy Ryan, going to move up off the nose of Dalton. Dalton's going to slide back. He went from leading this race to all the way back to 12th. Oh, with just a single lap of action there on that front row. All of a sudden, 3 lines strong as they come down the backstretch. Still continuing to make some moves, and all of a sudden, Justin Fuller now leading that inside or that middle line. Whoa, big slide up! And we saw there, that was really spicy. A big slide up the track. And Fuller now is going to lead. Coming across the stripe, Wesley Donaldson went for a ride. He got sucked into that middle line. And now, all of a sudden, new front row there. Nelson Riviera, Justin Fuller's there. 3 wide as they come down the backstretch. The 60 truck with a massive push off the bumper of the 22. That 22 has not moved off the bottom. That's Nelson Riviera sitting right there on that bottom, has been there this whole time. And then you have the 51 truck running the middle. That's Justin Fuller up front for the first times. Oh, and the leader moves up to block the middle line. That's going to open the door there. Get on the bottom. Now the middle line's going to have a huge push. How clear do they stay? Middle line. Oh, and the caution's going to be out. Caution out on the racetrack. A couple, looks like at least 1 car. Everybody's trying to scatter as they check up pretty hard. Still not seeing exactly where the wreck is. Couple cars there down on the apron as well, as a caution's going to be out once again here on lap number 13. Jose Gonzalez may have been involved. Let's take a look. These two were just back here. Oh no, these two were just back here kind of pushing along. That was Gonzalez and maybe the 17 truck, and that was Kevin Stone. It was. Unfortunately, those two by yourself. They've already involved in an incident here tonight, bringing out another on the backstretch on lap number 13. Sunday Night Thunder back here on turn 1. I want to appreciate everybody for tuning in. Lap number 16 under the caution for the second time here tonight. And pit stops have shaken up this field. Let's walk through it. It looks like Dalton, England is going to be on the front row here. Nelson Rivera on the front row, P2. Chad Coleman, Stephen Miles, Tyler Dalton, your top 5. Colby Vaughn, Cody Keller, Anthony Calatoni, Tommy Ryan, Wesley Donaldson, your top 10. It's going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out. A whole new front row here while we saw everybody come down pit road. Take tires and fuel here tonight at Talladega. Again, lap number 16. Going to come back to the stripe, or come back to the green flag, lap number 17 of 65. We saw some really exciting green flag racing there out of the drivers for the Sim 500 Sunday Night Thunder Series. That third line starting to play a factor. We saw some passes there on the third line, almost faster than the middle. We're going to see if that shakes out. In the meantime, England and Rivera are going to bring him down into the restart zone. The green flag is back out underway here at Talladega. It's going to take about 2 laps to get up to speed. Everybody's pretty much together here. Fairly smooth restart out of the front row as they come down the backstretch. England on the front there with Stephen Miles with a huge push on the bottom. That outside lane looked like it's being led by the 22 truck. Rivera, as they come down into turn 1 and 2, these trucks getting faster and faster, starting to wind it up here. Inside lane loses a little bit of momentum. The outside does the same thing. Tyler Dalton moves up. He's looking to make it a third line. See if he can get anybody to go with him. Tyler Dalton, he's got to push now on the outside. He's going to start to fall back a little bit. They're not quite organized. In the meantime, on the bottom there is England off the bumper of the 24. Comfortably in the lead as they roll through the bumps here on the front stretch. Remember, Talladega does not have the start-finish line of the tri-oval. You got to come all the way halfway down to turn 1 to take the start-finish line. And all of a sudden now that third line has picked up 3 other trucks, or at least 2 other trucks there, and maybe starting to materialize something. Yep, there comes the third. Now the middle is down to 6 trucks. That middle line, or that outside line rather, is going to be coming with a full head of steam. They've got it figured out. They're going to be a factor when they get into turn number 3. The 22 moves up. Still out front is England. Miles on the bottom. Or Miles on the bumper on the bottom with a huge push. Calatoni's up here in the front, or the bottom 3. In the meantime, here comes the third line as well. Much more organized than they were a lap ago. Looks like, I believe that's going to be led by the 69 truck of, no, that's the 38 truck, I believe, of Coleman on the outside. Dalton right on the bumper with a huge shove as they enter the backstretch. Three wide as they come down into turn number 3. Everybody trying to jockey for a position. That third line falls back just a little bit. In the meantime, on the bottom, free and clear and rolling, as well as Keller in the 69 truck. He's got the 22 on his bumper. Rivera did not go too far. In the meantime, England on the bottom. Miles there. And I'm not quite sure what was happening. It looked like Keller was going to move up and take Rivera with him, But Rivera's going to pick up the lead on that outside lane. England on the bottom. Still maintaining a truck length gap off the bottom or the middle and the high side. Another aggressive move to block the high side. I believe that was Keller moving up. Keller moved back up to the 22 in the meantime. Now here comes the middle line. Out of nowhere. And that, I believe that is Vaughn going to lead that middle line, and he may very well lead a lap before it's all said and done. He's got a big push here. I believe that's Phillips with him. It is. Now, all of a sudden, that third line completely falling apart here. Not as active as it was. Dalton's going to move back down, and a couple others kind of merge back into that middle line. Not as much speed on that outside row, even though it looks like we just had another driver pop up there. Who was that? I can't tell exactly who that is, but that another truck popped up to the high side. Nothing's going to be there, though. England and Vaughn leading your front rows. As I say, nothing's going to be there. Is that Mr. Pedro Mojica, I believe? Maybe this, maybe so. So hard to get some of these truck numbers nonetheless. Green flag action, 3 wide here. Lap number 23. Sim 500 group making it look easy. 200 miles an hour around Talladega, 3 wide. 8 rows back. Big shove out front. That is Pedro Mojica out there with them. Leading that middle line. Took the air off the nose of the 77 of Vaughn. The meantime, on the bottom, England is right there with Miles still dedicated to the bumper, but here comes Mojica. The 69 truck of Keller leading that third line. About as even as it gets, coming across the stripe. England's going to still squeak one out. He was going to move up to block the middle line. The 69 truck's going to do it for him. We saw a little bit of hesitation there from England, and he's going to lose a little bit of momentum. Now England leading, commanding that middle line. On the outside, it's Rivera. We've got a swap for the lead. Rivera slides down. He's going to take command of that middle line, and then Tommy Ryan is going to be there as well. Ryan and Rivera take over the bottom and top lines. Tommy Ryan looking pretty strong, but they're going to lose a little bit of the run they had. Oh, Ryan's going to get turned in front of the field. Big pile up. That's going to take 15 trucks with him. Big pile up on the front stretch. All starting with Tommy Ryan near the front. Unfortunately, a 42 truck field. I'm going to say probably just got halved competitively here tonight at Talladega. That is not what you like to see. Coming down the back stretch, it looks like the 22 stayed free and clear of it. Dalton, England, Stephen Miles, Chad Coleman, Wesley Donaldson, your top 5. And then that's pretty much where everything gets shooken up. Let's go see if we can get a decent look at this. Again, all starting back here, I believe, with Ryan going around. Just on that outside lane, the 25, just unfortunately nowhere to go. Let's do a little bit of a rewind if we can, just to one more look here at this. Keep an eye on the 25 truck. Yellow hood on the outside there. Off the bumper, the 69 just got loose and then came up. Big impact for a lot of trucks here. Gonna bring the caution out once again. here on lap number 26 of 65. Nelson Rivera going to be your leader. We're going to step aside for just a moment. You're watching Turn 1. +14 trucks involved in that caution here as we get ready to go back. Green flag racing lap number 29. Those not involved are up front. That's Nelson Rivera, Stephen Miles, your front row, Chad Coleman, Dalton England, row number 2. And then things start getting a little fuzzy because we have new front runners up here tonight. Jeff Hollingsworth, Tyler Dalton, of course he's been up here. Looks like that Chevy Silverado is relatively clean. The Gerald Livingston, Glenn Campbell, Bentley Glazer, Ron Holliford, your top 10 As we get ready to go back, green flag racing here on lap number 29 of 65. Not even past the halfway point here. It's been a wild one up front. Back through the restart zone, and the green flag is back out. And then we're underway again here at Talladega. Miles did not get a great start there off the bumper of Chad Coleman. Rivera certainly did. He's going to move up and get clear. Take over the line, or take over the lead on the bottom line, leaving the 40 truck of Dalton England all by himself on the high side. He's going to have Tyler Dalton with him. We know Tyler Dalton's got a fast truck and some fast hands. We'll see if that materializes into some big runs here. In the meantime, Nilson Rivera on the inside. No stranger to the front of this pack here. As I doubt we will see any additional third lines for the time being. Everybody kind of free and clear, minding their own business. I doubt we will see much. I don't know if there's enough trucks to generate a third line right now, unfortunately, that are up to speed as they come back across the stripe. Firmly leading there, Rivera and Miles. Third truck of Chad Coleman right there with them. And we see Dalton, I'm sorry, who was that back there? On the outside, that's Dalton England. Move down to the bottom. He's going to find himself a home sitting in fifth. On that inside line, there is no even second line here. Everybody's mostly on the bottom. A handful of trucks running that second and third line, but really not materializing anything. Tyler Dalton's losing speed and pace really quickly here, falling back in position. Looks like the lap down truck there that they're about to go by was going to move high. Stay out of the way. Riviera there. Miles. Coleman. Jeff Hollingsworth sitting comfortably in fourth here. Welcome to the top five, Jeff. Dalton England hanging out in the inside, or in that inside lane as well. Pretty much single file all the way back here to about eighth or so, it looks like. And then they start to get a little 2x2. That outside lane starting to kind of gather a couple trucks up here. Looks like there's about 7 trucks trying to figure it out, at least at some sort of outside line. So we come back through the tri-oval to take lap number 32. We're going to call this the halfway point of tonight's race right here on turn 1. Sunday Night Thunder bringing you some super speedway racing action right here on turn 1. I'm Sean Fitz. Thank you so much for tuning in. Had a huge wreck, and unfortunately, it's going to hurt this huge field here. 42 trucks, and about 14 of them were affected in that wreck. We'll see some competitive drivers unfortunately not be there at the end of this thing tonight here in Alabama. Talladega is the greatest equalizer, and it certainly showed. It reared its head there with a wreck nearly at the front. 2 and 3 wide back here. Tyler Dalton nearly had a 4 wide moment. In the meantime, Campbell's going to have a shove down the front stretch. He's going to have some good help here. Tyler Dalton was leading that bunch, and then I don't know if Dalton's got damage or what's going on, but it certainly seems like Tyler Dalton is unfortunately just not having the speed he had at the beginning of the race. And maybe it's just all about partnerships and not having the right folks there. Again, half the field running on the bottom, trying to stay single file. A couple of these others trying to get to the front row, make some magic happen. Campbell's going to lead what is the middle line as they move through 3. Here comes Dalton again. He's going to be pushing pretty hard there on the outside. I believe that's Doy Woods out there that he is got hooked to the bumper. In the meantime, I believe we see, who is that just moved up to the outside there? That is Coleman. Move up to the middle line and try to make something happen there, but so far, no contest for the bottom, with Rivera in a commanding lead since the restart. And I was correct. That is Mr. Doy Woods on the very outside, the far third line, up against the wall. Tyler Dalton on the bumper with a huge shove, trying to make something happen and bring that third line into fruition here. 4 trucks out there forming it up. Now down to 3. Woods just, they don't seem like they've got it quite organized. In the meantime, this this middle line led by the 38 of Coleman. Trying to get something working here. I believe that is, I'm sorry, that's Campbell and Coleman there trying to make that middle line work. Right alongside our leader here for consistently through 1 and 2. Outside lane trying to, or sorry, this middle lane trying to make it happen. And I would argue Coleman here trying to get to the lead off the bumper of Campbell. Nearly had him completely pushed clear as they came through turn 3, but here comes Rivera on the bottom. Miles with him as well, pushing pretty hard as they come down the front stretch. It's going to be an even drag race with the bottom line about half a truck length with an advantage. In the meantime, Doy Woods, and here comes Tyler Dalton. They're about four rows back on the high side up against the wall. They have not given up that line just yet. Oh, we saw that was Campbell think about moving up there on the bumper of Woods to strengthen that high side. Not going to do anything, though. Everybody stays in line as they come down the backstretch here side by side. They're going to have to deal with some lap traffic here once they come down the front stretch. We'll see where they go. I will tell you, there's nowhere on track that lap traffic can go. Hopefully they decide to find a place there on the apron coming down the front stretch. That'll be rough if they make a different decision than that. In the meantime, the 22, Rivera leading hard as they roll through the bumps down the tri-oval. And we see that, I believe that's Anthony Calatoni. He's going to be down on the bottom. That's a smart move by that Chevy to slide out of the way. There really was nowhere for him to go if he were to stay out in traffic in any one of 3 lanes, because all 3 are bumper to bumper 3 wide here across Talladega. Really no change in the front, basically 3 rows with all 3 lines. Rivera, Coleman, Woods. Top to bottom leading. That outside line led by Woods is more organized than it has been now, about 5 trucks with them. Looking a little faster. If they could just get 1 or 2 others, they would be able to take over this middle line. This middle line now only down to 4 trucks really organized here. And we see what's left of the field mostly kind of balled up here alongside each other about 4 rows deep. Woods is going to slide back 2 rows. Rivera and Coleman are going to lead with Miles and Campbell on the push. These lines are going to be a little more equaled up as they roll through the start-finish line. That's about as tight as I've seen it be. Right there as they come across the stripe. Rivera's going to lead with Miles on the push. But Coleman and Campbell, and then Woods and Dalton, not far from the front rows here. We see the faster trucks obviously trying to make something happen, and even some of these trucks that are damaged does not mean that you can't go up here and be competitive. Depending on the damage you have, you may make a great truck to be pushed. You may have it just sorted out where if you've got somebody behind you willing to stick with you, you still have competitive speed, and vice versa. You may be better if you've got some nose damage, tucking your nose up behind somebody and doing the pushing. Just depending on the type of damage you have and how quick or how much time it takes you to find a partner, and then recognizing those roles and capitalizing. You see some of these damaged trucks doing just that. That third line starting to fall back as they do, just about 4 lengths or so. Coleman was right there alongside the bumper, alongside the door of our leader coming out of turn 1. I'm wondering if Coleman's looking for an opportunity to maybe take that lead away. In the meantime, though, on the outside, here comes Doy Woods. He could have jumped down to the middle. He's going to stay with the 19 of Tyler Dalton. Rolling down the backstretch here. Some more lap traffic going to have to contend with as they roll out of 4 down the front stretch. We'll see where they end up going again. All 3 lanes here at Talladega blocked. They're up against the wall. I hope they make the right move here. That inside line in the best place they could possibly be. Oh, and they're gonna be on the outside. This is gonna be tough. They're gonna have to squeeze a 4 wide pass in here. They're gonna get it done. Able to do it there without any harm, especially through the tri-oval. That just shows you the talent with the Sim 500 group, able to make something happen oftentimes when many others couldn't. And you're seeing it right here on display with Sunday Night Thunder drivers. 24 laps remaining here at Talladega. Side by side, 3 wide for the lead. Continues with Woods, Rivera, and Coleman. Well, the Rivera kind of leading that bottom line, but Coleman going to take that lap. What I wanted to point out, though, is something that's kind of been very consistent all night here tonight. Wow, Rivera's going to look up and maybe take a little bit of door draft off that middle line. They're going to have a little bit of a lag on that inside line now. They're going to lose some momentum as they come down the backstretch. What I want to point out is that Stephen Miles on the inside, that very bottom line there in row number 2 has been dedicated to bumper or whoever's really been in front of him all night here tonight. Has really been a strong push. So want to commend that driver there, the 24, for sticking with his guns and doing what it looks like he knows how to do well, is keep a leader out front. Three by three, that's 4 rows back. 3 rows back. These drivers trying to keep it free and clean here. Coleman's had a lot of speed and a lot of push here the last 2 laps. Led that last lap. Campbell's going to be right there with him now. There was a lead change off the bottom. Coleman is going to move down off the bumper of Nelson Rivera, and that's going to change things up. Now the 44 is going to lead that middle line. That is Campbell, rather. And he's going to have a strong push. New leader on the bottom there, Chad Coleman. Glenn Campbell leading that middle line, but not for long. He's in trouble and sliding back. Campbell's going to lose some spots there. I'm not quite sure what that was about or what the deal was there. In the meantime, though, Coleman leading on the bottom, the 22 of Nelson Rivera on the inside, and then Stephen Miles right there with him. And then Jeff Hollingsworth there. Dalton England, your top 5 on the bottom. Meantime, the top 2 rows are falling back in a hurry. The bottom free clear rolling here. We saw the, I believe that was going to be England look up and maybe try to take that lead on the outside lane, but really nothing happening there on that middle lane. If anything, the high line is now starting to come back together off the bumper there. Campbell, he's got Doy Woods collected up and Tyler Dalton with him, and all of a sudden that third line's on the march. That outside lane's going to be actually clear of the middle here. Before you know it, Tyler Dalton's going to move down. He's not even going to wait for anybody. 19 of Tyler Dalton's going to move down, try to be the pull here on that middle line. Does he have the momentum to be the impact? More drivers starting to slide up to take that third line, but Tyler Dalton really kind of stalled out there in the middle. Campbell's still up there. He's got Doy Woods with him now. Dalton's starting to get those trucks rolling a little bit. That's the 11 of Ron Holyfield. Now all of a sudden, Tyler Dalton with the right shove from the 11 right here alongside our leaders. This is what we were talking about 4 laps ago. What a difference it could be from leading to being a push truck, depending on the damage you have. Ron Holyfield on the middle, leading with a shove. As Tyler Dalton back into competitiveness here of this race with 18 to go. On the outside, Glenn Campbell still hanging on as well. He's got Doy Woods with him, and we've got some lap traffic going to play a factor here on the front stretch once again. They're going to stay in the lane. Hopefully they move off the track. They're not going to. Our leaders are going to have to skinny things up. This is going to be tight. That's going to disrupt that entire bottom line. And it's going to get really tight as they roll into one. It's going to shake everything up just a little bit. It is definitely going to affect the race pace of that inside line. They were able to get around that truck, but boy, not without having to disrupt the flow of traffic. That is going to slow the inside lane a little bit. Chad Coleman may be in some trouble here. With the 19 and the 11, mostly unaffected. Everybody's keeping it rolling, free and clear here. 17 laps. We're coming to the stripe to take 16 laps remaining here at Talladega. That third line now down to 2 trucks. And the middle line really starting to, or just kind of coming to its own here off the bumper of Dalton. Tyler Dalton, no stranger to the front pack of this group, with led or started on the front row, led for a while. And then it's very easy to go for first to 21st here in about half a back stretch. We saw Dalton kind of be all over the racetrack after that big incident. Started fairly far back. But now Tyler Dalton looking good down the middle here. Side by side, 2 wide on the front, or near the front row here. In the meantime, Coleman off the bumper, Rivera leading on the bottom. Tyler Dalton has Holyfield with him. By the way, Stephen Miles right there on that bottom line too. He's not gone anywhere. 14 to go here at Dega. Side by side, coming down the backstretch. Third line starting to materialize once again. Is that Denayer out there? That's a 20. Can't tell quite tell what number of truck that is. As they come down through the tri-oval. A lot of back and forth they go. That's going to be, still can't tell what number truck that is, but I do believe that may be Dan Denayer out there in the 34. It is, I believe so. Nope, the Denayer's down the middle here. That is going to be the 50 or the 65 truck with Doy Woods on the bumper. That's Ed Williams. Side by side, Coleman with Dalton here. And right now, I would say, unless Dalton finds a little bit of speed, he's got some concerns. With that 38 truck, that inside lane has been a powerhouse tonight. Led with some familiar names. Tyler Dalton, though, has just not quite had the pace or speed to get back up there and get clear. We saw him running that third and outside, or that third line up near the wall for laps over laps, finally working his way back up front. Now he's off the bumper of the 11 truck, running the middle line and looking pretty quick, but not fast enough to get up there and take a run off the leader. We would have seen that happen already. I would imagine the 19 would have made that move if he had the pace here. We continue to watch that come to fruition, and we'll see if the 19 has the speed. In the meantime, Chad Coleman up front. We've seen flashes of speed from this driver over the many years we've been broadcasting. We used to cover Sim 500 back in our SRN days. Coleman was quick then, he's quick now. Showing some pace here with 11 to go, running in the lead at Talladega. Bottom line, 3 deep, rolling here. Oh, we're going to have some pit stops underway. It looks like all going to be led by Dalton England, Jeff Hollingsworth, Bentley Glacier, Scott Simley, Charles Woods, and a couple others all coming down pit road. That's going to shake up this group. I didn't think about the fact that a lot of these drivers have been out here running now since lap number 26, and fuel was going to become a factor here. It's 10 laps remaining. We'll see how this all shakes out. As now, remember how I was saying Dalton and a couple others, they were just didn't have quite the speed? Well, Dalton was able to find a spot on the inside lane. And the 11 truck is now back there flirting around 12th. Looks like our leaders are going to stay out here once again. Yeah, it looks like just about a 30-lap green flag run on fuel for a lot of these drivers. I don't suspect they're going to get 40 full laps out of it. Unless you've been running towards the back in ultra save mode, I still don't know if you could save 10 laps across a 40-lap run. We're going to see if this shakes out into more pit stops. It doesn't look like the lead, anybody from the lead here is going to, but we got a couple trucks on the bottom. We've got trucks sideways coming down pit road. It looks like that was the 20 of Scott Schoonover. And the Dan Denayer are going to come down pit road. Scott had, unfortunately, a bad pit road entry. We're going to stay green. About to come back to the stripe. 8 laps remaining here at Talladega, and this is when things are going to start heating up. But these pit stops, again, are going to have a really big effect on what happens here. More drivers peel off towards the rear of the field to come down pit road. It looks like that's going to be Doug Simpson, Gerald Livingston, Barry Stevens. Everybody makes it to the pit road. Those drivers qualified towards the rear, had the pit stalls right there at the front of pit road. And this is absolutely just a splash and go. You're not even taking a full can here. As our leaders come back, join the backstretch, they're going to have some lap traffic to contend with once they get back down the front stretch and potentially up into turn 1. I haven't really mentioned any names here up front because nothing's really changed. With Coleman leading on that inside line, he's got the 22 Rivera with him. Stephen Miles is with him, and we're going to see pit stops from the leader. Chad Coleman, Tyler Dalton, Joe Hudson, EJ O'Rourke, JP Phillips, Doy Woods. This is going to be the pit stops that matter, folks. In the meantime, Rivera's going to stay out. He's going to have the 21 with him. Glenn Campbell's there as well. And a couple lap trucks all joined up here. This could make or break the win here tonight. And Coleman and Woods, they're free rolling here. They're not quite organized, though. And they've got 6 laps remaining. I imagine we'll see Rivera come down. We will. He's going to bring Miles with him. As they hit the box, Miles coming in really hot there. Had to turn to avoid. Oh, this is going to be a bad stop for these drivers. Glenn Campbell's down pit road. Ron Holyfield on the pit road as well. This is going to be not ideal for Nelson Rivera. He's going to be in a little bit of trouble. In the meantime, this lead pack, Tyler Dalton's got him somewhat organized, but so does Dalton England. Stephen Miles is going to come back on pit road. They're going to be woefully behind here. Coleman, unfortunately, may even lose the draft here after it's all said and done. Up front, Miles and Rivera are going to join back on track, but they are going to be way too slow to catch this draft. Oh, a couple of trucks into the wall. Everybody's bumping. It's going to be a wreck down the backstretch. Tyler Dalton's involved. That is the break that Coleman, Rivera, and others needed right there. Caution is going to be out. 5 laps remaining here at Talladega. Chad Coleman, remember we talking about that draft, losing it? He was in a lot of trouble. He was losing spots. He was all the way back to 8th. Well, all that's out the window. Nelson Rivera, again, really slow, just coming off pit road. Same with Stephen Miles. They were really slow, just coming off a pit road, all the way back to 5th or so and losing spots quick. With that caution coming out when it mattered most. Dalton England, your leader. We got 4 to go here. I believe we're going to have some overtime when we come back. You're watching Turn 1. Getting ready to go back. Green flag racing in NASCAR overtime here at Talladega for the Sim 500 Sunday Night Thunder crew right here on turn 1. Hello, everybody. I'm Sean Fitz. Appreciate you being here. Before we do that, we need to do a little bit of business. And we certainly, unfortunately, I don't see him running in the race anymore, but I understand Brent Scott brought some sponsorship here tonight for Sim 500, Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Platinum Properties. We appreciate the support for Sim 500. Brent, if you were here, I'd certainly be happy to talk with you, but I don't think you've been on track for a hot minute, so I hope everything's okay. Either way, Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Platinum Properties. Appreciate the sponsorship for Sim 500 here tonight at Talladega. Getting ready to go back. Green flag here. Up front, Dalton England. And then Jeff Hollingsworth. He's up front for the first time on the front row here. They're gonna be your lead pack coming to this start-finish line. J.P. Phillips, Stephen Miles, E.J. O'Rourke, your top 5. Again, I want to pay close attention to call out that 24 truck. He's basically where he's been all night tonight. Row number 2, right on the bottom, and has been to the bumper of pretty much every leader on that inside line here this evening. Does he have what it takes to muster out a finish? He's been kind of hanging around, just minding his P's and Q's. If we see him make a move on this restart, we're going to find out. These drivers slowly come down this front stretch here. Dalton England in charge of the restart. Through the restart zone. Green flag out. Overtime in effect here at Talladega. By the time they come back around, they will just be starting to getting up to somewhat of a pace here in these trucks. So really, right now, all you need to do, if you're a driver of one of these NASCAR Truck Series drivers here, or these Sim 500 Series drivers here, all you need to do is mind your P's and Q's. Get the pace up, get the speed up, get in line, nose to tail with somebody. And it looks like Hollingsworth is going to back out. He's going to move way back. Maybe he knows something we don't. Maybe the issues or the wrecks are not done. In the meantime, that's J.P. Phillips on the outside. He's moving with some haste up front. E.J. O'Rourke is with him. Remember how we were saying if you get back to the start-finish line, you're kind of up to speed? Well, the white flag is out one more time around here at Talladega as they get up to speed. Phillips and England up front. DJ O'Rourke, Stephen Miles. Your front 2. Where does the lead change come from? Does the third line materialize? If it was going to, it needed to happen right about there. We see 2 trucks further on backs move up to make that happen. It's not going to be enough, though. They're going to roll through 3 and 4. Free and clear. We got trucks into the wall. Flag is good. We're going to go race all the way back to the line. Oh, no. Phillips is going to take a ride. That's pretty much going to wreck most of the field, and your winner, Dalton England. With the checkered flag, Stephen Miles tried to make it spicy there right at the very end, and then Doy Woods, your top 3 here tonight at Talladega. Strong finish out of these Sim 500 drivers. Several drivers in the wall. Big impacts there that last lap. Again, everybody trying to go after every bit of a finish they possibly can. Congratulations to Dalton England on the victory here tonight at Talladega. We're going to step aside and bring you some post-race coverage right here on Turn 1. Dalton England going to burn it down here on the front stretch while we get a chance to talk to that driver who we really thought was going to materialize something there on that bottom line all night tonight, Stephen Miles. Stephen, what a wild finish that was, but more importantly, I think you pushed every leader on that bottom line throughout the evening. What should you have done differently there when it came to the end?
I feel like I'm the best pusher out here, but right there at the end, man, as I go back and look at it, when I see I was committed to his back bumper, and I was just trying to get a good finish. If I feel like if I took the outside, they was gonna hang me out just like they did coming to the tri-oval. And right there, I seen them wreck, and when I seen them wreck, and I mean, I was already finna blow up, so I went to the right side of him, and I just hit a wall of air, and it just stopped my momentum for a little bit, and then I had to touch his right rear a little bit just to get a little side drive and see if I can make a good finish out of it. But yeah, right there, it wasn't nothing I could do. I ain't have no draft help or nothing. If I was probably half a truck off of him to get a run, it would have been better, but I'm already locked onto his bumper. It wasn't nothing I could really do there. He won that race fair and square.
Stephen, we saw you run that bottom line all night tonight, as I mentioned. Really pushed pretty much every leader down there. Was that the strategy coming in here tonight, or did you just kind of get put in that position early and decide to just stick with it?
I think, well, I started second. Yeah, I got to the bottom there, and I think I was right in the middle, and I just seen how some guys wasn't able to side draft like me, or wasn't on the same type of page as me. So it was hard to really make the middle work. And the only time the outside would work is if both lanes would just overheat and stall out, then the third would get a run. So right there at the bottom, I think I was pushing Nelson, and I feel like, man, I could manage my temperatures better than anybody. I was probably standing yellow the whole time and just managing our runs, keeping my front. He was doing an excellent job of giving me some clean air whenever he could. But yeah, right there on the bottom, I mean, I was just trying to make it to the end of the race, and I felt like that was the safest place, and I think it kind of saved me from a couple of wrecks there just by being on the bottom. So, yeah, I guess it played in my hand to be there.
It certainly did. Bringing home a P2 finish here at Talladega tonight, Stephen. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And with that, we'll talk to our race winner here tonight, Dalton England. Dalton, congratulations on a wild finish there. Kind of ran mid-pack for most of the race, and then slowly worked your way to the front there, let the cautions play out. Did you foresee yourself, say, a lap number 20, bringing home the checker flag here tonight?
Man, no, honestly, I didn't. This is my first race here with Sim 500, and great group of guys. But no, we were shuffled back there, probably 20 laps in, and a couple of the OGR guys I was running with there, Hollingsworth and a few others. We just kind of rode around. Thought we'd be okay on fuel. We were saving there for a while, and then it just was probably about 3 laps too short. So we decided to come down there with 10 to go, and me, Hollingsworth, Glazer, and a few others, and unfortunately, when we cycled through, Glazer blew up and caused that last caution there. So I was a little worried that me and Jeff would get shuffled back there, and unfortunately, he was caught up in that wreck off turn 4. But huge thanks to the 24 for the push there. That was super important, and no, it's nice to win. Usually I'm upside down by lap 20, so that's pretty cool.
Nope, kept it on all fours and brought home the victory in his first race here with Sim 500 Sunday Night Thunder. Dalton, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you guys for doing this, and everybody at Sim 500. It was a lot of fun, and see you next week.
Yep, we'll talk to you again here real soon. Dalton England, your winner here at Talladega. And with that, we will talk to the driver of the 28, Doy Woods. Doy, congratulations. We saw you really working that third line up against the wall here tonight. Did you feel like you had the most pace up there?
I think I did. We had a fast Red Bull Toyota truck tonight, and you know, the motor was the best, and we was fast as 5G internet or faster as well. And you know, I think if I'd have got the lead, I'd have turned into Dale Earnhardt, and I'd have won the race. And they all knew that, so they did a good job of keeping me from the lead.
Well, we got to restart that router on that 5G to get those last couple spots. No, but Doy, listen, really, the outside lane, you look like you championed that most of the night tonight. If you had that last lap to do over again, what would you change?
You know, everybody, the high line couldn't go going. I mean, everybody stayed tight. I don't know if I could have done anything. I couldn't have done nothing, pushed Chad no more. They just needed to wreck sooner, and I needed to avoid it, and I'd have won.
Well, there you go. Doy Woods, hey, listen, nearly a finish here, nearly the top finish, running P3 here tonight at Dega. Doy, congratulations.
Thank you.
And with that, we're going to wrap up race coverage. Sunday Night Thunder in the books here tonight for the Sim 500 group. It's been a great run here again. I do want to take a quick moment and thank tonight's sponsor. That's Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate, Platinum Properties, for bringing the support here to the Sim 500 Sunday Night Thunder group right here on Turn 1. On behalf of the league admins, I'm Sean Fitz. We're going to see you tomorrow night. American Sim Racing Tour returns. I think we're coming back to Talladega tomorrow night. We're spending a lot of time in Alabama, but that's okay. It's a lot of exciting racing right here on Turn 1. If you haven't already done so, make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Do whatever you need to do to get connected. We got a lot of racing action coming up here this next spring, and we'd love to see you with us. Until tomorrow night, have a great one, everybody. Bye-bye.